Hey everyone, and welcome back. I'm Juana, and I'm here with Abe again as we will continue building out your Amazon ad strategy.
In the last video, we talked about how Amazon's Cosmo and Rufus AI systems look at your listings. Today, we're going to get into keywords.
Yeah, this one's all about how to actually think about your keywords, not just finding them, but understanding how to use them to guide your ad strategy.
Exactly. We're going to look at how keywords connect to your goals and why your keyword strategy should reflect the things you're trying to achieve.
There is a lot of nuance in how you structure and use keywords. It's not just a checklist. So, Abe's going to walk you through the mental models that we use with our clients every day.
All right, let's jump into it. Today, we're essentially going to talk about how to understand keywords, where they fit into your system, and essentially how to use those things to choose your keywords properly. In future episodes, of course, we will get into the mechanics of choosing keywords. But today, even before you start that, you want to understand where keywords fit and how they match to your product. So, the first thing to understand is that keywords guide Amazon's system. I know that in the last video, Owana spoke a lot about the AI system understanding the intention of what your product is and how it matches to shoppers and their personal avatars. But the truth is, at the same time, that's true. The system needs a listing to look at, and the keywords that you put into your listing steer that system. When you talk about what your product is, when you talk about the size, when you talk about the color, when you talk about additional features, all of those things tell Amazon what your product is, and it helps match to buyer searches. It's really important because Amazon not only looks at all the words, Amazon looks at how you arrange the words. So if you put a keyword at the beginning of a title, that's different than putting a keyword in a first or second bullet. If you put a keyword in your fifth bullet, it might not even get looked at depending on how many characters you have. If you put a keyword in the back end, different fields in the back end will have different amounts of importance. So understanding how Amazon looks at your listing and how it looks at the keywords is really important to setting up your listing and to making sure Amazon puts it where you want your listing to show. Directly connected to that is relevance. Amazon considers relevance to be super important. And what this means, to say it a different way, is that every time a shopper searches for something, Amazon wants to show products that match what the shopper is looking for. They want the shopper to find the thing they end up buying relatively quickly. They'd like it to happen in two, three, four clicks of products. They actually don't like it to be one product. They would like to be a selection of products shoppers look at. But within those first two, three, four clicks, they would like that to turn into a sale. And they would like it to be a product that the shopper likes and ends up keeping and is happy with. If any of those things are not happening, that makes Amazon less valuable to shoppers. Shoppers want Amazon to be a place where they go, they find the thing they want, and they're going to be happy with what they get. Anything that is not what I just described makes Amazon look worse. And so Amazon values conversion rates very highly. So when Amazon is taking your keywords, it's translating it into signals and where to put your product. If that signal is not right, you'll have a low conversion rate. If the signal is exactly correct, it will lead to a high conversion rate. That higher conversion rate gets Amazon to put your product higher and higher. And when you have great conversion rates, it cements you at number one, and Amazon will actually give you lower costs to stay there. Because for them, the value of you being a good match, they're happy to have that translate into a lower price per click. Now, it's not as simple as that because in a lot of cases, several products can be that great match. And in those cases, they'll start paying attention to the bids because if any of them could be great in spot one or two, well, the next thing is who's willing to pay more for that spot when you're both going to be great. There's another 20 factors besides relevance and bids, but those are two important ones. You've got to be a good match. And if you are a good match, you get rewarded. If you are a low quality match, you will be penalized. So these two are the flip sides of things. But you actually need to understand both things being true. And they're both things to think about. So high relevance, will lead to better performance, will lead to better conversion rates, will lead to better ranks. Low relevance, if you are careless in picking your keywords, if you just try to get keywords from everywhere or any words that come into your head to put into your listing, that's going to have the exact opposite effect. Amazon will first start to show you for those keywords to see if you're a good match. And when they see you aren't, they will put your listing lower in ranking. And over time, the lower your product has a conversion rate, the less you're able to fix it. They'll say, even when you put new keywords, well, his history of keywords is not great. I don't know that I trust whatever he put in. And this is where Cosmo and Rufus and the rest of their systems come in. You want to send the system the right signals. I mentioned a moment ago about Amazon rewarding you with a lower CPCs, and this is important here as well. Carefully selecting your keywords can save you a lot of wasted spend. If you choose keywords which not relevant to your product or keywords where there's an enormous amount of competition for ranking, and this connects more to ads than to the actual listing creation, but we're talking about creating ads. So if you target keywords that are super relevant but impossible to win with, that's going to lead to wasted spend. If you target keywords that are too loose, they will be still a perfect match, but they aren't focused enough, the same thing. And the perfect example is t-shirts. The keyword t-shirt on Amazon has something like 2 million searches the last time I checked. Now, you would think that, hey, 2 million searches, I want a piece of those 2 million searches to turn into sales. Well, no, that's a problem because nobody actually buys from that keyword. People that search t-shirts, half of them want a t-shirt for men, half of them want a t-shirt for women, half of them want white, half of them want black, and the third half want a different color. Some want v-neck, some want cotton, some want wool. There's a lot of different ways to sell a t-shirt. All of them include the word t-shirt. And as soon as a shopper just types t-shirt, he realizes he's sort of not in the place he needs to be at. So if you focus on t-shirt as a place to spend money, you will waste a lot of money showing your product to people who are not interested in your specific t-shirt. That careful selection is important to putting your product in the place which will lead to sales and will lead to sales at the prices you can afford to spend. Now, the next thing, these two things sort of go together, where great keywords drive growth and proper keywords lead to more keywords. What do we mean with this? Now, of course, if you have the right keywords, you are opening yourself up to audiences that can buy your product. Showing yourself to the right shopper when you're the right product leads to sales. That's our goal with everything we do on Amazon. Putting yourself in the right places drives growth. Putting yourself in the wrong places leads results you don't want. But in terms of the keyword aspect, here's where it gets interesting on a technical basis. Some ad campaigns you set up are what's called exact match, where whatever you type in, Amazon will only show your ad for exactly the words you put as a keyword. Some of Amazon's ad campaigns are looser with where they show your products. So they have a match type called broad match. They have a match type called phrase match. If we start talking about phrase match, for example, what does phrase match do? Amazon will take the keyword you put, but they have permission to add words to the beginning or end. If you have keyword of t-shirt, well, Amazon is allowed to show it for searches for keywords for t-shirts for men, t-shirts for women, t-shirts for kids, blue t-shirts, green t-shirts. They can add words to the beginning or end as long as the word t-shirt is in it. Now, how is that good for you? T-shirt is not a great keyword. However, if you have the keyword of t-shirts for men, the more targeted your keyword is, Amazon will still add things to it to show your product in even more places than what you thought of. And the good seeding keyword will lead to Amazon putting your products in places you didn't think of. A great example is mattresses. We work with a brand of mattresses. They sell their mattresses at a low price point. I don't necessarily recommend this as a place to steer your own business and products you offer. It's a very competitive space. And if you don't have your manufacturing down, it's an absolute disaster. But from a keyword perspective, one of the first things we learned because of all of the search term data that they gave us is Amazon was putting their keywords in mattresses for RVs, for mobile homes, for trailers, for back of pickup trucks. There are search terms related to that. They never thought of their product being used in those situations. We looked at the keyword we looked at the search terms that Amazon gave us. We realized, hey, there is a market for people to put our product in RVs because people are searching and they're buying from it. And they updated their listing, show images of people putting it into those situations. Conversion rates increased besides the sales they were making already, and they started ranking much higher for those types of keywords. There are going to be 100,000 examples. You can imagine what the example would translate to for your product in terms of an additional market that you might not have thought of. To give you another example, we worked with a brand that sells gloves, the disposable gloves that you use while you're cooking. Well, they did not realize that also doctors use those disposable gloves, and they learned it from their search terms. The right search term led to that additional use case. Again, updated their content, increased sales. Another market I probably wouldn't recommend you go into, the sale price is below $10 with competition that is selling 150,000 units a month. Hard to break into. But it's an example of where you can find extra use cases when your initial good keywords get taken by Amazon and put into even better places. Just to cover this again, selecting your keywords is important. It tells Amazon where you need to be. The right keywords will lead to you ranking better. The right keywords will lead to your ads costing less. And the right keywords will lead to sales that you didn't even realize you should be getting sales from. Now, I put this little blurb here of investing the time to get your keywords right. Something to realize is that keyword research can often take a lot of time. Your imagination can come up with 5 or 6 keywords in 5 or 6 seconds, but the reality is once you start to run a keyword research process properly, it can take anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 hours to get the keywords for your product right. And it will be annoying and it will require you to think and make a whole bunch of decisions. But if you get it right, that time will be worth any hourly rate you can figure out for yourself or a team member. Spend that time, get those keywords right. I think that's what we've got for now. After this, we'll talk more about the nuts and bolts of where to put those keywords, the nuts and bolts of how to find those keywords, and then we'll be able to get further and further into this work of making you sell more product or getting you to sell more products. Thanks for this. See you soon.